Hey, all, welcome to More Than a Refresh. This is another T3D session where we invite a guest on to educate us in 10 minutes or less. Our guest today is Victor from SlashDB. Victor, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining in. I'm a founder and CEO of SlashDB. We make a product to create RESTful APIs out of databases, and hopefully we get a chance to tell you all about it today. Thanks, JD, for the opportunity.
Yeah, no, it's great. You and I have talked in the past. Now, RESTful APIs out of databases. Now, there's only one database. I know everybody thinks there's others, but we're talking about Postgres here. So
We can.
Yeah. Do me a favor. Give me, with Postgres, there's an open source solution called PostgREST, which does RESTful API. Tell me why SlashDB versus that.
Well, it does indeed offer that add-in. And SlashDB, I think there are a few distinguishing factors or features that we have, not just from that, but from almost any other API that is in the market. First and foremost is the R in the REST, so RESTful state transfer. And R stands for representational state transfer. And so out of the box, SlashDB gives you JSON, which is what you would expect out of a RESTful API. But also, it gives you XML, which is a much more formal, even if a bit older document format, as well as plain old comma-separated values that can be useful for certain use cases, for certain people who might not want to deal with parsing XML or JSON. So that's three representations. And there is a fourth one, which is HTML. And by that, we mean a fully featured UI where you can browse through the data, define your own queries, and make it all very user-friendly to maintain queries and database objects that are also at the same time API endpoints for client consumption.
So with that, let's talk about two things. One, any of the, I've been doing this for 30 years. So any of the younger generation, they're like XML. Well, the reality is the world runs on XML, right?
A lot of it.
Yeah, most of it, right? Now, obviously, the newer applications they may be using JSON or something like that. But even the JSON representation is going through some kind of XML handler, whether it be XHTML or something like that. Eventually, and if you're dealing with any kind of mature enterprise, they're going to be running XML.
A lot of times,
right? EDI, banks, regulated industry, things like that. So that gives your product kind of a leg up there. But the second part here, which is interesting to me, is it sounds like, if nothing else, from I need to get the job done now, you almost offer a kind of a dashboard capability, with the HTML output you were talking about.
I'm glad you picked up on that because, I don't know, you and I have longer careers, and so many times over that you engage with a new department or a new client altogether. Before you even can start helping, you have to orient yourself in the data bubble. What's inside in those tables, right? So you've got your IDE or a query editor where you can write exploratory SQL and sort of get a sense of what's in those tables. But with SlashDB, you literally create a connection and all the tables become accessible. You can page through them. You can do quite a bit of filtering on data without writing any queries. And as you do that, all those filters can be utilized as parameterized API endpoints. So imagine a graph and document facade over a relational data model. In tech speak, this is what SlashDB at its core is all about.
Okay. It actually reminds me a little bit now. Obviously, you're abstracted a bit. You're middleware, but we actually have a team member before he joined us, and this was many moons ago. He wrote an Apache module. You'd load the Apache module, and it would actually connect to a Postgres database, and via Git or Post or what, I don't remember what the method was, but you could basically write a URL out that would actually spit out basically an XML representation of the data.
Very close.
Yeah, the downside with that kind of solution, of course, is that you end up, for every connection, you end up with a connection to the database, which is, that would be that's nowadays, 20 years ago, not a big deal. Now this is a problem. So now let me ask you this: just because we're nerding out here a little bit, what's SlashDB written in? Is it Python? Is it C? Yep. Java?
It's Python, and for the front end, we just released version 2.0 of the product. So now the front end is on React.js. But the main work engine is Python with connection pooling, multi-threaded, multi-processor. Even you can set up a cluster if you really want high concurrency and high availability.
Are you using any the standard for Postgres connectivity? Are you using the standard Postgres drivers like PsychoPG3 or
exactly
2
that?
Or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So version 2, you move the front end to React.js. What kind of features are we looking at? What would excite us about version 2 versus version 1?
Well, we cleaned up the UI quite a bit. So I don't know if it makes sense to give you before and after now that it's already out. But one of the problems of the old interface was that there was quite a bit of pop-ups and modals. And we moved away from that in favor of one clean sidebar and the rest of the screen being available to the content or the administrative function that we want to present in that space. And it's very much more modular, faster. It's pretty great.
All your standard upgrades, modular, faster. So let me ask you this. Usually when you go to market, something like SlashDB I'm not saying it is, but can face challenges because you're in a relatively flooded market, right? There's a lot of different ways to build endpoints to a database. What is unique? What is the one problem that you solve better than anybody else in your mind?
I feel like all kinds of modernization of an existing system, where basically you have two options. Either you build out the middle tier, the RESTful API, and you can be very specific about it, design it, and that's one way of doing it. Or you can have it today, where it spins up the endpoints for reading, writing, and updating and deleting, if you so choose, out of your existing database system. So I'll give you an example of one of our more successful clients, where they are a software vendor themselves, and in the past they would install their enterprise product on premise. And with that, as with any product, you have all kinds of needs to get additional reporting, data, and so on, which is possible when you can set up an ODBC connection and just run your queries and pull the file out of it. Now, when they move to software as a service model, all those databases for their product are no longer with the clients on premise. So there had to be a linkage from the cloud to the ground, if you will. Mm-hmm. And SlashDB fit perfectly as a gateway right in the middle for that.
Okay.
So
Well, hey, as I mentioned in the beginning, it's a 10-minute session. We got 5 seconds. I think we'll take up that 5 seconds with you telling us where to go to learn about SlashDB.
For the techies, I'll send you directly to our documentation site, which is docs.slashdb.com. If you want to read up about our pricing and so on, just go to slashdb.com.
All right. Well, hey, thank you for joining us, Victor, and we look forward to hearing more from SlashDB in the future. And you have a great day.
You too, JD. Much appreciate the opportunity. Thanks.